afternoon, everybody. My name is Darian Jones. I'm the Marketing and Development Director here at the Lighthouse of Houston. We are super excited to have another online workshop for you guys today. But before we get started, I wanted to just introduce who we are at the Lighthouse. So for actually 85 years, we're coming up on our 85th anniversary in November. The Lighthouse of Houston has been supporting individuals who are blind or low vision through our health services, assistive technology resources, community and support programs, vocational skills training, and internal employment opportunities. We serve over 14,000 individuals annually through all of our different programs, services, activities, and events. And our goal is to foster communities of belonging with accessible resources that enable personal and family well-being, learning, development, and employment. Here at the Lighthouse, we employ 60% of our workforce is actually blind or low vision. And again, we're just really excited to have everyone here today. The presentation is going to be about NFB Texas, the National Federation of the Blind of Texas. And so we hope you guys really enjoy it. And I'm going to introduce our guest for today, Liz. Welcome on.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here and streaming with everybody. My name is Liz Weiss Carver, and I am a member of the National Federation of the Blind of Texas. And I actually work at our Texas affiliate office. I'm the NFB-NEWSLINE Texas coordinator. So I really appreciate the invitation to join the Lighthouse of Houston to talk about some of the services that the National Federation of the Blind has on the national and state level. And then also toward the end of this presentation, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of our NFB-NEWSLINE service. That's a free electronic news and information system that's available to anybody who is legally blind, deafblind, or otherwise print disabled. So let me give you just a little bit of info. If you would like to reach out to me, I'd be happy to chat with you because I'm going to give you guys a lot of information today. And I know sometimes it can be overload with a lot of different things and dates coming out at you. So if you would like to give me a call, my direct number is 281-968-7634. And again, my direct number is 281-968-7634. And I'm usually available weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'm happy to get you information about any of the stuff that I chat with you guys about today or answer any other questions that maybe we didn't get to. So, to start off, what is the National Federation of the Blind? Maybe you've heard of us, or maybe this is totally new information. So the National Federation of the Blind is a national level organization that was developed by and for blind people. You'll notice it's the National Federation of the Blind and not the Federation for the Blind. And that's important because it's really something that we as blind people developed ourselves and that we run and we choose which projects and programs and initiatives we want to pursue, and we run our own things and our own events. I'm a blind person myself, and when I say the word blind, or when you hear folks from the National Federation of the Blind say the word blind, that doesn't necessarily mean totally blind. I actually have a little bit of vision, not a whole lot, but enough to get in trouble with sometimes. But we think it's respectable to be blind. And so we're not afraid to use the word blind. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, well, she said that's for blind people. That's not me. It really is for anyone with any level of vision loss that can benefit from some of the alternative skills and the positive blindness philosophy that the National Federation of the Blind teaches. So as I mentioned, it is a national level organization. We have thousands of members with all levels of vision, all levels of experience, all ages, all ethnicities and groups across the country. We also are on the state and local levels. And so, as I mentioned, I work for the National Federation of the Blind of Texas, and we also then have chapters. One of the chapters I'll give a particular shout out to is our Houston chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Texas. We meet for our Houston chapter the first Saturday of each month at the West Gray Multipurpose Center in the Green Room at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we'd love to have any of our local folks here in Houston, come visit us. We do have a lot of other chapters across Texas. And for folks who are joining from out of state, I'm going to primarily be talking about Texas, but there's similar things, and there's things like chapters and divisions in other states. So if you're from outside of Texas, you're also welcome to reach out to me, and I'm happy to get you in touch with folks in your state. But here in Texas, we do, of course, have the Houston chapter. We also have a Dallas chapter. We have a Coastal Bend chapter that's in Corpus Christi. We have a chapter in the Rio Grande Valley area and several others. I believe right now we have 13 chapters and divisions. But for folks who aren't close enough to one of the chapters I mentioned to go join in person, we do actually have a chapter that we call our at-large chapter. And that is the Lone Star chapter. And the Lone Star chapter meets every month exclusively over Zoom. So you can call in on a telephone or open up your computer or a Zoom app and be able to join the Lone Star chapter virtually, and still be able to participate if you're too far away from a local chapter. We also, here in Texas, we have a student division, and we also have a blind seniors group. So a couple of different interest areas for folks here in Texas. And, the reason that I'm mentioning joining a chapter, go check it out, see what you think. It's a really great way to meet other blind people, other blind families. As I mentioned, it really is a pretty diverse group. We have seniors, we have children, we have blind parents, we have young professionals who are blind. There's a little bit of everybody. And the most useful information I have learned personally has been from other blind people. So if you go to somewhere like a chapter meeting where blind people are, you can find out, like, hey, what kind of skills and techniques are they using? How do they access their computer? How do they get on StreamYard with a screen reader? You can ask people that and find out. And you don't have to be feeling like you're the only person that has vision loss and you have to reinvent the wheel all by yourself. The National Federation of the Blind links you up with, as I mentioned, literally thousands of blind people. So if you have a question about how to do something, I may not know the answer to everything, but chances are I could get you in touch with somebody who does. We have professionals that do all sorts of things, office workers, rehab teachers, educators in public schools, mechanics. There was a blind mechanics group for quite some time. I think the group is still meeting at national conventions. Really, any kind of thing that you need to know, we probably have someone who's been there and done that. So I'd encourage you to check out a local chapter of the National Federation of the Blind and get in touch with other blind folks and get plugged in with all the different resources and opportunities that we have. A good friend of mine in the Houston chapter, he likes to tell people the NFB will send you on adventures. And that's absolutely true. I have done so much stuff through the National Federation of the Blind that I never would have had opportunities to do. Things like going to our nation's capital and speaking to senators and congressmen about legislation, hosting exhibit tables at White Cane Day, going kayaking and doing rock climbing and camping. So there's really quite a lot of opportunities and adventures to be had. So another resource I want to let you know about is our state office for the National Federation of the Blind of Texas. We do have a small but mighty staff. So we'd love to take your phone calls or chat with you if you want more information. Our main office phone number is 281-968-7733. And again, that's 281-968-7733. And our website is nfbtx.org. And again, that's nfbtx.org. Our affiliate president, her name is Norma Crosby. She actually is not a paid employee. She is a volunteer. So aside from a few of us who are paid staff, our affiliate level president, our affiliate board, our chapter presidents and chapter board members are all volunteers. So we primarily run on volunteer manpower. And that's why we'll definitely put you to work if you want to go on adventures and do things. Through our state office, we also help folks here in Texas get connected with resources. So direct you to other programs, to other people who might be able to help answer your questions. We're happy to chat with you about general, how do I do XYZ as a blind person sorts of questions. We also serve as advocates if you need assistance in that regard. So, for example, for folks who have a vocational rehabilitation case or an older individuals who are blind case opened with the Texas Workforce Commission, we can help you as advocates. We can talk to you about how you navigate those processes, how you get signed up, how you work with your counselor to put together an individualized plan for employment, and things like that. So lots of folks reach out to us for questions and for assistance navigating their TWC cases. We also help with family members who have blind children that are having ARD meetings. So to put together their IPEs. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. IEPs. Um, so we can help family members with blind children as well, and can sometimes even sit in on the ARD meetings and help you that way. So please reach out to us if you need advocacy assistance. This month is actually Blind Equality Achievement Month, and that was formerly known as Meet the Blind Month. That's a campaign that the National Federation of the Blind has had for several years now to help other folks meet blind people, have blind people out in the community, and let people know about our positive philosophy about blindness. And that centers around White Cane Awareness Day, which is October 15. So you guys, if you've been to some of the White Cane Day events, there were two of them here in Houston. There was the Houston Community White Cane Safety Day that the National Federation of the Blind of Texas Houston chapter actually helped to coordinate. That was on Saturday the 12th, and then there was another Houston White Cane Safety Day celebration that was on the 15th. We had a table there, and you probably saw a whole lot of other blind people there walking around with canes and guide dogs. So the White Cane Day celebrates the legislation basically that made it where blind people could be in the world, that blind people could walk around on sidewalks and be in public restaurants and public spaces without that being a liability. That legislation for the White Cane Day laws that actually was put into motion by the National Federation of the Blind, and it was signed by President Lyndon Johnson. So that was back in the early 60s. So, that's an example of some of the different legislation that the National Federation of the Blind has been involved with that still really affects all of us today. I want to let you all know that our state convention is coming up. Our state convention is really fun. It's usually about 250 or 300 blind folks from Texas and from some surrounding states come together, and we have a weekend-long event. For this year, it's going to be November 8th through November 10th in Dallas at the Dallas Crown Plaza downtown, and that's on Elm Street. There are a couple of Crown Plazas in Dallas. The registration is now open. It's on our website for pre-registration, and room rates are still available. So the rooms are $129 plus tax each night with our group rate. You'll want to reach out to the hotel either by the link that's on our website to book your reservation online, or you can give them a call. The booking link and the group rate should be available until October 31st. And with pre-registration, the pre-registration is available through November 1st. If you register before November 1st, your pre-registration fee will be $35. And there is also an optional banquet that happens on the Saturday night on November 9th, that would be. And currently it's $45. You can still show up to convention and register with us at convention, but it'll be $5 more for the registration and $5 more for banquet. So you save a little bit of money if you were able to register right now. Banquet is really fun. Banquet is optional, but we'll have a keynote address from our State representative. Our national office will send someone to come to kind of oversee the banquet and to give us a report from the national office and help with convention proceedings. So that's optional. During the convention itself, we'll have a lot of different breakouts. So, for example, we'll have an NFB-NEWSLINE open house and demonstration. We'll have an exhibit area with probably about 12 or 14 exhibitors. So you can see some different technology, learn about other programs, and be able to go through our exhibits and check out other services that are available. We'll have some breakout sessions on things like using accessible platforms in college, independent travel. The Texas Workforce Commission is going to join us for a kind of a town hall style listening session. We'll have a lot of different things about getting blindness skills training and independent travel through our general session. So again, another way to network and meet people and also have a lot of fun. It's a really fun time. If you'd like more information about our state convention that's coming up in November, or if you need assistance registering or getting a room booked, you're welcome to reach out to our office by phone, and also visit our website. And all the information is there on that front page for state convention. So we do have several activities. We try to have some different programs for folks of all ages here in Texas. One of our programs that we have each summer is the Bell Academy, and that stands for Braille Enrichment Literacy and Learning, and that's for blind children between ages 4 and 12. And a lot of blind kiddos are not receiving Braille instruction in school, or maybe they're just not getting a whole lot of Braille instruction in school. And so our Bell Academy, we designed it at folks in our national headquarters with input from people all over the country have put together a curriculum and program, and then we host them in different states around the country. And we really decided, if they won't teach them, we will. So that's a cool place for blind kids to meet blind adults who are serving as the instructors and learn a good bit of Braille for a week, and also meet other blind kids. It's a good place for families to network, and they learn some other skills like some cane travel and some just things like spatial awareness and how you use a computer as a blind person. So that Bell Academy is usually in June or August. We also have a new program called the BOLD program, Blindness Outdoor Learning and Development, and that's for children and families. We did this not last year, but the year before. We're doing it every other year, and it's a really new program. We just did the one that was the year before last was our first one. And it's a camping experience for blind children and their families. And this year it'll be coming up. We don't have information out about it quite yet, but it'll be coming out in the spring. We're going to have 2 different sessions. We'll have a session for families of blind children. And then this year we're actually going to have another session for blind parents with children that, the children are either blind or sighted. So we're going to have 2 sessions of our BOLD camping program coming out in this spring. We also have our class mentoring program, which is for transition age blind youth. So that's ages 14 to 22, where we host some programs to introduce youth to blind adults. We choose 12 mentees each year, usually around the September, kind of like the school year starting, and they are able to come to programs that we bring to them, such as coming to the Texas School for the Blind. We have a big cohort of kiddos there. We come to the Texas School for the Blind and do some activities there on campus. I know we just did some pumpkin carving. We've gone bowling. We've gone to the mall. This is led by blind mentors and blind people showing these mentees how you can travel, how you can do these things, how you can cook, so that they get that confidence and understanding that, hey, blind people can do these things and live independently. But also our mentees get to come to some of these bigger events that I've mentioned, such as state convention, things like our national convention, things like our Washington seminar. So that's a great program. If you're in that age range and you're interested, please reach out to us and we can get you some information. We also have scholarships on both a state level and the national level. So our state scholarship application period has closed. It usually runs from June 1st through August. So it's already closed. And those scholarships will be awarded at our state convention next month. We usually have about 5 blind students who are going to school, going to college in the state of Texas that get awarded anywhere from $1,000 up to close to 3,000. I think is our top one. So I'd encourage, if you are going to be a college student for next fall, when that application period opens up in June, make sure to sign up for the scholarships. On the national level, it's very competitive. We award 30 scholarships in the amount of $8,000, and they're awarded at our national convention. Also, the scholarship finalists are able to come to a national convention and their expenses are paid. So that's a really good benefit right there, just to be able to come to national convention. And they often get some other goodies that are given to us. We've had some gifts like Chromebooks and different technology and things like that that may be donated from other organizations toward our national scholarship program. So that I believe will open up in December, at the beginning of December. And then they'll be awarded during National Convention, which is in July. So check that out if you're going to be a college student in the next fall semester. Apply for the national scholarship, and I'd encourage you apply for both. We have a lot of people that we see apply for national level scholarships, and it's very, very competitive. And then they don't apply for our state scholarships, which are a bit less competitive since we don't have an entire country of folks to compete with. So I'd encourage you to apply for both of those. So we have some seniors programs. Our main senior program that we have here in Texas is the Silver Bells Senior Training Program. And that term Silver Bells is kind of a play on the Bell Academy that started first for children. But our Silver Bells Senior Training Program is something that we came up with here in the state of Texas to bring in blind seniors for a weekend-long retreat-style training session. So we will usually bring in anywhere from about 12 to 16 blind seniors and their family members to a hotel, and we move it around each year so that we try to reach out to more people throughout the state. This most recent one in August was in Dallas, and we have 2 full days of working with them on how to use things like NFB-NEWSLINE to read news and information, how to use your phone or your computer as a blind person with things like VoiceOver and TalkBack or JAWS and Narrator, screen readers. How do you as a blind senior organize paperwork? How do you keep up with things like tax files or important medical paperwork if you can't physically read it? We go over a lot of those kind of topics and have classes led by blind people who are proficient in these kinds of skills and are using these skills every day. And that's my favorite program. I love our Silver Bells program. But our seniors come away with the idea that, their life isn't over just because they've gone blind. There is still hope out there. They still have their own knowledge and experiences and interests. That doesn't go away just because they've lost vision. They just need to learn a new way of accomplishing these tasks. And since we have the family members there with them, the family members also see that, they can still do things independently. This is how other blind people are doing things. So it really helps to educate everybody. That program is usually in August. So if you're a senior, we consider senior 50 and up. Sometimes we can fudge a little bit on the age, and we've been known to do that in the past if needed. But usually 50 and up is what we consider a senior for that particular program. If you're interested in it, reach out to us and kind of keep an eye on our website if you're a computer user. We usually put out applications kind of more in the late spring, so maybe around May, and it's typically in August. we have a National Federation of the Blind of Texas Seniors group, and that group has a call over Zoom each month on the third Saturday of the month from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Central. And so our next meeting for the seniors group is coming up this Saturday, the 19th of October. And we have several different guests join us and talk about different resources, different technology, different services, just all kinds of different topics that seniors might be interested in. And you don't have to be a senior to join this particular call. It just kind of focuses more on things that seniors might be interested with. We've noticed our seniors are really, really hungry for technology. So we often have technology topics, but not always. So for this Saturday, for example, Al Rodriguez, who is an assistive technology instructor at the Envision Lighthouse in Dallas, and he's also the president of the National Federation of the Blind of Texas Dallas chapter. He's going to be joining us to demo the Meta smart glasses. I've got to get some of the Meta glasses. Every cool kid on the block's got them, but me so far. But he's going to demonstrate them and show how blind people can benefit from the Meta smart glasses, and actually tell you how there's a chance that you could win a pair of them. So come join us on Saturday for the seniors group meeting. You're welcome to reach out to me to get the Zoom link. We don't have it posted on the website at this moment, but I'd be happy to get that to you if you want to reach out to me. So those are some of our state level programs. I want to also briefly talk about some of our national level programs. So we do have a national headquarters. It's in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have a national staff that our president, his name is Mark Riccobono. He oversees our national staff, and they help to put on even bigger programs than the ones that I've mentioned that we do here in the state of Texas. One of our biggest programs is our national convention. That happens in July. This July, we're going to be in New Orleans, and you can go to nfb.org, and that again is nfb.org if you want to see information about National Convention and some of these other programs that I'm about to mention. That is really quite overwhelming, really is a word. That sounds a little negative when I say overwhelming, but it's a very invigorating experience to go to one of our national conventions, because it's a group of about 3,000 blind people in a huge hotel, going independently, walking with canes, walking with guide dogs, moving around, doing what they want to do. We have all kinds of different sessions. It's usually about 6 days long. So there's lots of different sessions for some of our divisions. So there's, like, for example, our National Association of Blind Students has a meeting for students. There's a blind lawyers division that meets. There's a blind office workers division. There's a blind journalists group. Lots of different groups and interests have different sessions and breakouts during National Convention. Everybody comes together on the second half of convention for what we call general session, where all 3,000 people are in one big enormous ballroom. It's really, really energizing. It's definitely something fun. There's also time for social stuff. You'll meet up with friends. You'll make new friends, go out to dinner, walk around the hotel together. So it's not only business. There is a lot of fun. It's really exciting. I'd encourage you to go if you're able to. And for National Convention, we do also have on the national level a Jernigan Scholarship, which is for folks who are first timers to our convention, and they can give you a financial scholarship to assist with the cost of going and getting the hotel and registering and things like that. So if you are brand new and you're interested, you can check out the Jernigan Scholarship once that has been announced on our national website. And again, if you want to call our office, we can help you with these things. As I said, this year it's going to be in it was just in Orlando. This year it's going to be in New Orleans. But then in 2025 and 2026, it was announced it's going to be in Austin, Texas. So that'll be a little bit easier for all of us in Texas to get to. So 2025 and 2026, our national convention will be in Austin. So we're really excited about that coming up. Another event that is coming up from February 3rd through February 6th is our Washington seminar. Each year, members of the National Federation of the Blind come together to Capitol Hill to speak to our congressmen and senators and their staff about legislation facing blind and disabled Americans. We will coordinate with our volunteers that come. So if you want to come, reach out to us. We'd prefer that you don't just show up on your own, because if you do come, we can see which district you're in and put you in a group that's actually visiting your congressman person. So we go and speak to them about blindness things. So things such as making medical devices accessible for blind people, because a flat touch screen isn't very useful for someone if it doesn't talk or have any kind of tactile or haptic feedback whatsoever. We've had initiatives about accessibility for online universities. We've had things about different tax rebates to help offset the extreme expense of purchasing things like Braille displays. So we announce our legislative initiatives for the year before Washington's seminar, and I'd encourage you to check those out. They'll be posted on our website as well as on NFB-NEWSLINE. And even if you're not going to Washington seminar, you can still help us with these initiatives. We'll have some calls to action about particular things that are happening, how you can reach out to your local congressperson and help support these pieces of legislation, even if you're not attending. But again, really fun one to go to. So if you're interested in that, it is definitely a more formal and business kind of gathering, but still lots and lots of fun. You'll have some opportunities to meet people and do a little bit of socializing as well. Two different programs that we have available on our national level are our free white cane program and our free slate and stylus program. So we don't want people to have to not be able to use the tools of blindness just because they can't afford them. So if you would like a free white cane, a long white cane, or if you would like to get a slate and stylus for writing Braille, we have those programs on our national website, and I can also help you fill those out over the phone if you're not a computer user. So please reach out if you would like to get a free white cane or a free slate and stylus. The National Federation of the Blind also has two training centers that teach our positive philosophy about blindness and the structured discovery methodology of cane travel and of other blindness skills. And those training centers are the Louisiana Center for the Blind and the Colorado Center for the Blind. That's actually how I learned about the NFB, was by going to the Louisiana Center for the Blind. And it's both of the programs, the Colorado and the Louisiana centers, they're run by blind people. We have blind directors of those training centers and blind teachers. And for me, it was really a kick in the pants because I had some sight. And so I was naive and thinking, oh, well, I'll be able to do this just fine. And no, there were totally blind folks just running circles around me. So with these training centers, if you have any residual vision, you use learning shades, so basically a blindfold, while you're doing your classes so you can focus on the non-visual skills. Sight is a very consuming sense. If you have sight, often you might not notice some of the more subtle ways that you can get information, like through sound or through touch, and by gathering information from other folks around you. And so anyone that goes to these particular training centers uses sleep shades while they are in their classes to learn those alternative techniques. And then when they're done with classes, you take off your sleep shades and you can use those skills that you've learned with your residual vision. It was really relieving to me to learn that, because before I went to that training center, I didn't really have any choices. I just had to use only the little bit of sight that I did have. And that was very stressful. Simple things like moving from outside where it's bright and sunny into a darker, shady, building. I wouldn't be able to see at all just from the transition. But when I went to the Louisiana Center, I learned how to use a cane And I learned these non-visual skills. So then when I'm in a situation where I can't see at all, or my eyes are just not working well, or maybe having a bad eye day, I have a choice. I can then do that same task in a non-visual way. So, the NFB doesn't think that having sight is a bad thing. That's not what this is about whatsoever. If you have sight, you're welcome to use it when it's useful. But if you have those non-visual skills, then you've got a choice. You're able to decide, I can do this visually right now, or, oh, maybe it'd be easier to do it this other way. So that's just a little bit about the training centers. Now I'd like to talk about NFB-NEWSLINE. So I'm going to talk to you guys about what it is a little bit and then do a brief demonstration, depending on how much time we've got, of the NFB-NEWSLINE mobile app on iPhone. So this is the program that I'm over here in the state of Texas, and we try to incorporate NFB-NEWSLINE throughout all of our activities and things that we do. So if you do come to our state convention, you'll see that we're having a Newsline demonstration there, and we'll have an exhibit table. There's also several other ways you can learn about NFB-NEWSLINE. We do presentations like this with other organizations. We also host what we call open houses. We have at least 6 of those each year, where we go to different places around the state and actually show people how to use NFB-NEWSLINE on some different devices and get them registered. And sometimes we'll do some virtual ones of those as well, but often we'll do them in person. So there's some different opportunities to learn about using NFB-NEWSLINE. So what is Newsline? So it is a free news and information service that's available to anybody who's legally blind, deafblind, or otherwise print disabled. You don't have to be a member of the National Federation of the Blind to sign up for NFB-NEWSLINE. It's open up to anybody. You don't have to be a member of any organization at all to benefit. It's called NFB-NEWSLINE because the National Federation of the Blind developed it, and we primarily sponsor it along with state sponsors and maintain it. It's a really cool example of how blind people came together and made a solution for a problem that we still face, which is access to print materials. So NFB-NEWSLINE was started back in the 90s, and when it first came out, it was available on the telephone, and you can still use it on the telephone as long as you're able to dial a phone and use your keypad to select the content that you want to read. You can read all of our over 550 unabridged publications that way, but now we have several other platforms available. You can use the NFB-NEWSLINE mobile app for iPhone, which I'm going to show you. So if you have iPhone or iPad, that's available. It is also online. It's on Alexa smart speakers. It's on Braille displays and note takers. And it's on digital talking book players, things like the Victor Reader Stream, or you can download content to play on your book player from the National Library Service. So there's several different platforms. There's hundreds and hundreds of newspapers and magazines and breaking news outlets that you can read once you get registered. You can read things like Texas Monthly and Texas Observer and Houston Chronicle and the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. There's magazines. We have over 90 magazines in our collection, and we're always adding to it. We have things like Jet Magazine, Better Homes and Gardens, The Rolling Stone, Successful Farming. I had a student once that asked, well, do you have anything on Newsline for farmers? And I said, well, let me look. And we, in fact, had the Successful Farming. There's other things on it, such as weather alerts and forecasts. There are job listings that you can customize if you're looking for employment or anyone in your family is. You can search through Career Builder and USA Jobs. And there's also TV listings and some store circulars. So tons and tons of information outside of just newspapers. Let me see what time we've got. Alrighty, so I'm going to get, I happen to be using an iPhone 14 Pro, but you can use any kind of telephone to call in. For the app itself, that's available on iOS, so it's available for iPhone and iPad. So I'm pairing that I've just got a little Bluetooth speaker here, so you will be able to hear it. Let's try that again. To sign up for NFB Newsline, if you're here in the state of Texas, the easiest way is to reach out to our office, and I can help you with that. We also, on nfbtx.org, there's a quick survey that you can fill out that just asks for your contact information, and it'll ask you a few questions about yourself. And that's just so we can get you registered for Newsline. We're not going to share or sell your contact information. We might occasionally update you on if we have an event in your area or if there's any big changes or updates to the NFB Newsline service itself, but we definitely don't spam you. Once you register, you'll then receive a letter in the mail and an email with your NFB Newsline user codes and the local phone number that you can call. And those are what you'll use to access NFB Newsline across all the different platforms. So I have my phone. I'm a VoiceOver user, so you're going to be hearing VoiceOver. But the nice thing is it's showing the actual text on the screen. So if you like to read visually, you're able to do that. And you're able to switch it to dark mode if you prefer. You can use things like your magnifier to zoom in on it. And this is also available to folks who are otherwise print disabled. So things like dyslexia or physical disabilities that make it difficult to hold a print material. It's not only blind people, and they may want to read it visually. But you'll be hearing VoiceOver on my speaker here. I'm just going to see how loud it is.
Welcome, Liz Wise Carver. Heading level 1.
All right, there we go. So this is the app, and I want to show you guys, we'll see how much time we've got, but I want to show you a couple of things. I want to show you just how do you find a publication, and then also I want to point out our new presidential campaign materials that we've just gotten added. So right now there are 4 tabs at the bottom of the screen, and the very first one is the highlights screen. And so that's kind of the all about you little area, if you will. So it's going to show things. It'll show my actual GPS location since I've allowed it to use location services. And that's really cool because then it'll also show me the weather for any area that I go to. So when I go to Dallas in November, I won't have to tell my Newsline app that I'm in Dallas. It'll see that I'm there and it'll show me the Dallas weather. And it'll also have my queue, which is an area where you can save content directly to your phone to save for later if you want to read it again after it's not on the Newsline service any longer. It'll still be in your queue where you've saved it. And it's also got your favorites list. So I'm going to touch at the top of the screen, and I'm just going to use a one-finger swipe to kind of go through some of the elements on the screen and some of the publications.
Heading.
So it's telling me highlights.
Liz Wise highlights. Welcome, Liz Wise Carver. Heading you are near.
I'm going to skip the address part.
What's new? The NFB Newsline service is now completely functional, with the exception of some newspapers not updating properly. We continue to work with the publishers on this problem in order to get fresh content. Please call 866-504-7300 to report any problems and we will investigate.
The cool thing is, since it's actual text, you're able to move word by word or character by character. So like for that phone number, for example, I could read that character by character if I wanted to. Sometimes we don't program this, but the iPhone is smart enough to see links and phone numbers. And so sometimes you can even just tap on the phone number and be able to call. So we had a pretty big system update where we're moving away from servers into the cloud. And so that information right there was just telling us that everything has been restored. So I'm going to keep swiping.
New. The NF local weather.
There's my weather.
My queue. Heading.
Here's our favorites.
Paper. All content. Affiliate news from the NFB of Texas. Latest information. Braille monitor. 10/01/2024. Cooking light. 09/01/2024. Houston Chronicle. 10/17/2024. New York Times. 10/17/2024. Actions available.
You're hearing it. This is my favorites list. So a favorite list is just kind of like a hyperlink, like if you set like a bookmark on your website. It's just a short list that gets you straight to your favorite things that you like to read. You might have noticed that there's numbers after some of them. That's telling us which most recent edition is available. So with Newsline, you'll always have today's publication, yesterday's publication, and the last major edition. So for a major edition, for example, that's usually a Sunday paper because those are typically a bit larger. So we don't archive. So if I come back 2 weeks from now, I'm not going to see the same edition of the Houston Chronicle. But again, if you want to save content to read, that's where you can save it to the My Queue or even email yourself a copy from your phone and be able to review that later on in your own time. So this is my favorites list. Let's say I want to read the New York Times. So I'm going to find New York Times and I'm going to double tap on it to open it.
Chronicle, New York Times.
There it is.
10/ full public highlights, back button.
So up at the top left, it's showing me that back button to highlights. I'm going to swipe right.
Times, heading.
It tells me the title.
Button. New, remove, button.
And then on the top right side, there's a remove button. So if I wanted to take this off of my favorites, all I would need to do is double tap that and it would remove it from my favorites, and then it would toggle to an add button. So it's super easy to add favorites. When you find a publication, you just go up to the top right and tap on it. So what it's displaying for me right now is today's edition of the New York Times, and it's going to show me the sections. So I'm going to pick a section and then we'll go into that and see how it shows articles.
Button. Current issue, 10 business/financial desk, 11 articles. Classified, 4 articles.
It tells us how many articles are there, and those do update throughout the day because you're getting content in real time.
Classified, 4 editorial desk, 5 foreign desk, 9 metropolitan desk, 1 national desk, 23 none, 1 article, obituary, 5 article, science desk, 1 sports desk, 1 style desk, 9 articles.
Let's go into style. So I'm going to double tap. Now it's going
View
to
section, New York Times, back button.
There's our back button at the top left. Now it's going to display a preview. So it'll show us a little bit of each article. It'll show the title and maybe read the byline and the first line or two of the article. And then if I want to read it, I'll simply double tap. There is also an option, you'll hear it say show full section. So if I wanted to just have a big old block of text, I can view all of the articles just one after another in text as well. But I'm going to look at this little preview. We'll see what we've got. So I'm swiping.
Desk, heading, 1, do it yourself, and it doesn't matter who you are, by Anne-Marie Conte. With help from online tutorials, Facebook groups and in-person workshops, home improvement is becoming far more inclusive to people beyond straight men.
Okay, number 2.
Please pullovers to give an accountant the chills, by Jacob Gallagher. Camping's favorite material gets a luxury overhaul. 3, Going from Royal Gowns to Uniqlo, by Laura Nielsen. Last month, standing in a sunny Tribeca studio among racks of clothes, Claire White Keller was back in her element. 4, Here to Help, 4 Smart Halloween Hacks to Trick Out Your Home, by Rachel Siricula. Not enough room in your house, or budget, for automated Halloween decorations?
So it's almost Halloween. Let's check out this one. So I'm going to double tap.
Selected, Style Desk, back button.
Again, it always defaults to that back button at the top left, but it's showing me the whole text of that article. So I'm going to use a voiceover gesture for read all. So I'm going to use a 2-finger swipe down, and we're going to just let it read a bit of this article.
Desk, back button, here to help, 4 Smart Halloween Hacks to Trick Out Your Home, heading, share, button, here to help, 4 Smart Halloween Hacks to Trick Out Your Home, heading level 3, by Rachel Siricula. Not enough room in your house, or budget, for automated Halloween decorations? You can still create fun frights using a few common smart home devices. Rachel Siricula, lure candy fiends with lights. Hanging festive string lights around your front porch and putting them on a daily schedule will signal that you're open for business. An outdoor smart plug such as the TP-Link Topo TP25 outdoor plug makes it easy to trigger your lights on and off at your preferred times using the TP-Link Topo app and schedule. Use your doorbell for thrills and chills. Swap the chime sound of your video doorbell for one that triggers goosebumps for visitors. Many smart doorbell manufacturers.
Okay, and then I've just touched it with 2 fingers on the screen to pause that speech. So again, you can move word for word, character by character, and spell it out. You can actually email yourself a copy of this content. So I'll show you how to do that. Toward the very bottom, at the end of the article, there should be a link that says to email me this.
Doorbell for thrills and chills. Bathe your porch in blood red light. Tab bar. Information sources. Tab. Selected. Highlights. Email me this article. Link.
There it is. I'm going to double tap.
Back to content. Tab bar. Selected. Highlight. To content, but toolbar.
It's already.
Content, button. Tab bar, selected, toolbar, back to content, but you should receive your requested content shortly at louisakerver@nfbtx.org. If this is not your correct email address, please call 866-504-7300 to correct it.
So it just brought up a little pop-up that says it's emailed it to me. We can change your email address. So if you update your email address or if you registered and you didn't have one at the time, just give us a call and I can get that changed for you. So I'm going to hit back to content now.
You should receive your back to content button.
Okay.
Send in the creepy dolls. The only thing.
Alrighty. So the very last thing I wanted to show you is how do you find content if you don't have any favorites? So this was out on my favorites list, which meant that I took a little bit of time to add things to it. But if you are brand new, you're not necessarily going to have any favorites because you haven't set those up yet. In that case, you would go to the second tab down at the bottom, which is called Information Sources. So I'm going to go into Information Sources, and then I'm going to swipe around on it so you can see some of the different types of publications you can read.
Selected, highlights, tab,
highlights.
Information Sources, tab, 2 of 4.
I'm going to tap on that.
Information Sources.
All right. So
NFB-NEWSLINE Mobile.
I'm up at the top, and here are some of the different kinds
NFB-NEWSLINE
of
Mobile.
publications.
Information Sources. Heading. Breaking news. State-specific. Texas State-specific channel. Texas publications. Publications from other states. National newspapers. International newspapers. Magazines. All publications. Global publication search. Spanish publications. TV listings. Retail ads. Learn about the NFB.
So those are the different types of publications. The one of the things that has just been added for our presidential election season is a 2024 candidates section. So what that is our office has set up what are called global searches for both presidential candidates, for Trump and for Harris, as well as for Vance and Walz, the vice presidents. And that search will grab any article that has those names in it. So it's kind of cool to go through and look at that. You know, you can get more information on their platforms, what's happening around them, and just a lot of information that you might consider for when you then go to the polls here pretty soon. So I'm going to show you how to find that. We're not going to go into them, but I'll show you where they're at so that you can check it out on your own time. So those are called 2024 candidates. And the easiest way to get to them is in the all publications section that's on this list. So the all publications is a little bit daunting because it's all like almost 600 publications just listed out alphabetically. But we'll jump to C for candidate once I get into all publications. So I'm just going to swipe until I find all publications.
Ads, TV listings, Spanish publications, global publication search, all publications.
Okay, double tapping.
Search field.
It is showing me that there's a search field at the top. So I could type in the word candidate if I want. What I'm going to do instead is use a voiceover gesture, their router gesture, to get to headings. And then I'm going to swipe down with one finger to get to the letter C heading.
Ducking, off, speaking rate, 5 words, characters, edit, describe images, headings.
Okay, now I'm going to swipe down.
Heading, night sky, 1, heading, A, heading, outdoor. Heading, C, heading,
There's
night
C.
sky.
All right, so now I'm going to look for candidates.
CBS News, 10/7, CNBC, 10/CNN, 10/17, CNET, 10/7, candidate 2024 searches, 10/17/2024.
All right, so I'm going to double tap.
All publications, back button.
And now this is similar to when we went to the New York Times and it was showing us the different sections. So it'll have different sections for each candidate. So I'm just going to swipe so we can hear some of them.
2024 searches, heading, add, button.
Oh, there's where I can add it to favorites if I want to.
Issue 10/17/2024, heading, breaking news search results for Harris, 227 articles. Breaking news search results for Trump, 68 articles. Daily newspaper search results for Harris, 437 articles. Daily newspaper search results for Trump, 209 articles. International search results for Harris, 52 articles. International search results for Trump, 25 articles. Magazine search results for Harris, 34 articles. Magazine search results for Trump, 7 articles. Breaking news search results for Vance, 200.
Then it goes into the vice president. So they've got these searches broken down by category. So that's kind of cool. So, if you went for something more like magazines, it might be a little more featurey versus if you go for breaking news, it's going to be a real short, very to the point article versus, international might be different to our, US publications. So that's a quick overview on using NFB Newsline. As you see, there's really a lot of information to explore. It's not just for newspapers and news only. There's lots of things that you can read for fun that you might enjoy. Things like sports and weather and shopping. It's also great for students who maybe are having to do research for school. I've known of a lady who was working on a book that used Newsline to do. She would set up her own global searches and she'd use that to do research for her book. So all sorts of applications. There's not an age limit on who can apply for it. So, I encourage you to sign up for this service. If you don't have it already, it's totally free for you. And I'd be happy to help you get you registered and to answer any questions and help you get started. So that is what I had for the presentation. If we had time, I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Yes, thank you so much, Liz. So much really important and helpful information. We did have a few comments and questions, so I'll go through those real quick. Let's see. Jonathan asked, hi, my name is Jonathan. Where can I meet other blind people in my area? So I actually responded back to that and said a great place to start is going to be the NFB website chapters. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, definitely. I'd recommend that. Start there. There might be a chapter in your area. And if there's not, you might be interested in that Lone Star chapter that I mentioned that meets virtually. For folks that are in smaller areas or more rural areas, that can at least get you plugged in and meet other folks. And then maybe if you find out, oh, you're in Nacogdoches, I'm in Nacogdoches, then you could maybe meet up and things like that. Also coming for when you see different events being put on, things like White Cane Day celebrations. Sometimes health fairs will often have tables there, and there may be other disability and blindness services, just anywhere that you see like community activities going on. And of course, our state convention is a lot of fun. So that's a good place to meet folks too, even if you don't have anyone directly in your area.
Awesome. So we've got a couple questions from Elisa or Lisa. I'm not sure exactly how you say it, but she asks, do you also help with 8 ladies?
Help with what?
It says 8 ladies. I'm not exactly sure
like
what that might be.
IHT ladies, or
I'm not sure. It just says 8 ladies. And then she also asks, do you also help with Alexa devices?
Oh, yes. So with the Echo devices, I'm happy to help folks get Newsline set up on there. We do have an Echo skill on there. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to make everybody's device go off. But so if you're having trouble getting that going, you're welcome to give me a call. I can help walk you through it. It's a little bit of a game of Simon Says. You just have to say things the way that she wants you to say it. So yes, we can help you with that.
Awesome. And then Lorraine says, hello, this is great information. Thank you so much. We've got Svetlana also says, awesome. And we have Jonathan asking, was wondering if there are any events in Houston, Texas. That's where he lives.
Oh, heck yes. There's lots of events around here. We just had 2 White Cane Days that the NFB was at with a table. We have our chapter and it's really active. We'll do different things related to the chapter, such as sometimes we'll meet up and just go for lunch or go out for activities. And that's what I can think of straight away. We've had national and state conventions here in Houston, so we probably won't have another one of those directly in Houston for a little while. But yes, there's definitely a lot that the NFB is doing. There's also Haven which is the Houston Area Visually Impaired Network, HAVIN. So the NFB, our local Houston chapter, is part of that, and there's some other organizations, things like iBug, which is a good organization. So there's definitely lots of stuff going on in Houston.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, the Lighthouse of Houston is also part of Haven, and we also offer different community events and programs. So if you want to just check our website for updates, we also have things going on all the time. And then it looks like we've got one final question from Denise. Is there anyone who can teach me how to fill my pill pack?
That I'm happy to chat with you about that. That's actually medication management is one of the topics that we cover for our seniors at Silver Bells. So yeah, I can definitely chat with you about that. Just straight away, there are some resources like Script Talk, like Script, like a prescription talk. Not all pharmacies carry it. I believe Walmart and Walgreens and CVS do. I don't think HEB Pharmacy has it at this time. But that's a resource where it's free for you. Well, I can't say it's free. I'm not 100%. I think it's free or low cost for you as the patient. You'd sign up for the Script Talk through your pharmacy, and then it has a sticker on each of your pill bottles. And you get a special device that they give you, and it'll read out all of the medication information, including even things as detailed as, if your doctor recommended take this once in the morning and once in the evening, it'll read out all of that. And then based on that, you could choose to set up an individual, like broken down little pill box, even with AMs and PMs. But there's some other, even simpler than that kinds of techniques that we've recommended, things like a pen friend. If you have access to a pen friend, that's where you create your own labels for your bottles. And even simple stuff like I have two medicines that, they're in the same size bottle and they're pretty similar kind of pill shape and look. And so I just simply put a rubber band on one of them. And I don't have a lot of medications that I'm taking personally. So that works for me to be able to identify it, just like, oh, this is that one and this is the other one. So there's some simple little tricks like that you can do as well. But yeah, we'd be happy to chat with you and help brainstorm some solutions.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Liz. I believe that is all of our questions for now. I'll put up the NFB website and phone number one more time. So that is www.nfbtx.org, or the phone number is 281-968-7733.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. It was, again, super informative, and I hope everyone really enjoyed the presentation. This video will stay up live, so if you guys want to share with your friends or rewatch it later to get the more information, definitely feel free to do so. We will hopefully we will be back next month with another online workshop, and we hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank y'all so much.